out till Thursday morning. I've been chilling on a Friday. I play some shows on a Saturday. If you ask me what my best day is, it's when I press you on Sunday morning. I got my throat in my mind. I love you, Lord, you are the most high. I love you, Lord, you are the most high. I love you, Lord, you are the most high. I love you, Lord, you are the most high. I love you,
Good morning, folks. Good evening, good afternoon, depending where you are. We want to welcome you to SKTV once again. Please go ahead and share the show.
I love you, Lord, you are the most high. I love you, Lord, you are the most high. I love you,
You tell me, say, make I know that everything's gonna be okay. You are the father to the fatherless, the miracle walking God. You made the blind man to see. You made the crippled man to walk. You are the lily of Galilee. You make impossible possible.
I got my throat in my mind. I love you, Lord, you are the most high. I love you, Lord, you are the most high. I love you, Lord, you are the most high. I love you, Lord, you are the most high. I love you, I woke up strong on a Monday. I go to gym on a Tuesday. Then to the studio on Wednesday. I work it out till Thursday morning. I've been chilling on a Friday. I play some shows on a Saturday. If you ask me what my best day is, it's when I press you on Sunday morning. I got my throat in my mind. I love you, Lord, you are the most high. I love you, Lord, you are the most high. I love you, Lord, you are the most high. I love you, Lord, you are the most high. I love you,
So, folks, once again, I want to welcome all of you. Please go ahead and share the show. Mr. Steve Boyle will be joining us as well. Today, we are going to be discussing Liberia, and specifically, we're going to be discussing what do you expect, or what are your expectations as Liberians for supporting politicians in Liberia. Some may say, well, I'm supporting for a better Liberia. And what is your definition of better Liberia? Some will say, man, I'm doing it for a job. What kind of job do you want? What do you qualify to do? Some will say, well, to get dual citizenship, do you think the people you elected can pass the dual citizenship? Everything on the table, nothing is off the table. So the question is, what are your expectations? I want to say good evening, good afternoon to all of you. Good morning, depending where you are. Let's share the show. We'll be on the show shortly. We are currently streaming live on about 4 different networks. Four different platforms. My personal platform on SKTV, also on my personal platform, also on YouTube. Sekou Kenneth, that's the YouTube. Also, we have another platform we are streaming live. So go ahead and share the show. We'll be starting the show in a few minutes.
Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. I woke up strong on a Monday. I go to gym on a Tuesday, then to the studio on Wednesday. I work it out till Thursday morning. I be chilling on a Friday. I play some shows on a Saturday. If you ask me what my best day is when I press you on a Sunday morning. I got my throat in my mouth. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name.
So, I think Mr. Steve Boyle is here. So, folks, let's go ahead and share the show. We will be coming back on it. We will be starting the show in a few minutes. So, we will be starting the show in a few minutes. Let's see here. Mr. Steve Boyle, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Kenneth. How are you?
I'm doing great. So let's share the show for a few minutes, and we'll be starting the show momentarily. All right? Are you ready?
As always, you already know.
All right. So let's share the show for a few minutes. We'll be right back.
Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name.
tell me, say make I know that everything's gonna be okay. You are the father to the fatherless, the miracle working God. You made the blind man to see. You made the crippled man to walk. You are the lily of Galilee. You make impossible possible.
Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. I woke up strong on a Monday. I go to gym on a Tuesday. Then to the studio on Wednesday. I work it out till Thursday morning. I'll be chilling on a Friday. I play some shows on Saturday. If you ask me what my best day is, it's when I praise you on Sunday morning. I got my throat in my mouth. I'm gonna chill in my. I love me that day. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name.
Hello? Yes. Let me call him.
You are the most high God. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name.
You tell me, say make I know that everything's gonna be okay. You are the father to the fatherless, the miracle working God. You made the blind man to see. You made the crippled man to walk. You are the lily of Galilee.
All right, folks.
You make impossible
I hope you are here and ready. Because I know I'm ready, and I believe Mr. Steve Bole is ready. We are going to be discussing something very, very important today. That's the future of Liberia. So we can stop the music right now and go on the show. Mr. Bole. Mr. Bole, it looks like you are playing this something loud from your end, so you need to turn it off. All right. So now we're good to go. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. Thank you as always.
Yeah. So today today the discussion is going to be very very tough, but it's going to be very important. Uh, Hold on. I'm hearing myself somewhere. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So, folks, once again, as always, I want to welcome all of you. This is SKTV coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. Fortunately, both me and my brother here, we live in Phoenix. We were lucky enough to have him here in Phoenix, Arizona, one of the best city. So I want to welcome you. I want to say thank you for joining us. Today is Monday, and we again want to say Merry Christmas to all of you and a prosperous New Year to everybody. A lot going on in Liberia, and a lot has been going on, but we expect much more to go on very soon. Specifically in January, when the people that we elected, when they take office, we expect them to go to work. First of all, in politics, people do things for a reason. You support somebody for a reason. You must have some expectations. Some may be big, some may be little, depending who you are, depending your ambition, depending your intention, depending your understanding of politics. You will set an expectation somehow. Say, let me support this person or these people. When things get better, this is what I expect. So because of that, we are bringing you here today to ask you, what are your expectations, specifically from people that you elected? Some will say, well, my expectation is to see a better Liberia. What do you mean by better Liberia? What is your understanding of better Liberia? And what better Liberia mean to you? Does it mean to see improvement in the livelihood of our people? Does it mean clean drinking water? Does it mean school affordable to the parents? Or does it mean to you, since these people are criminals, I want my own criminal to be there so I can also benefit? Does that mean that's how you consider a better Liberia? Or maybe if you are in the diaspora and you are a citizen of the United States or anywhere else in the diaspora, you do not have the right to vote. You do not have the right to a lot of things. And to add insult to injury, the last time the Senate of Liberia came up with a bill that was very discriminatory, a bill that kind of proved that most of the people who crafted that bill, they were trying to prevent other Liberians who live in the diaspora and have obtained another citizenship. Specifically, that bill is going to classify people as second-class citizens, not having 100% right as a citizen of Liberia. Is your expectation on that to say, well, maybe because we have elected these people, they're going to make us 100% citizen again? Or do you expect specifically Senator Darius Dillon, who many people were very angry and disappointed in the first time he was elected, to be a part or to be key player in sponsoring a bill that just went for a referendum that was very discriminatory? Do you expect Dillon to do better this time around? Now you have CPP majority, opposition majority. Do you think they will do something better that will give you diaspora Liberians some level of relief wherein you can vote, you can participate? Okay, assuming that you support Dillon, you support all the other people. What is the benefit? What do you tend to gain? What do you tend to gain as a Liberian living in the diaspora? What are some of the expectations? What good is Liberia to you if you have no part to take in it? If you don't have a say, if you are limited, you are Liberians, but you are second-class Liberian. You don't have a right to certain things. People came and sugarcoat, even though none of them could defend it. Even Senator Dillon could not defend it on this platform. I don't know about other platforms, but they could not defend their action. They only say, one is better than zero. Let's just get that one. Let's get started. But it appears to me that it did not go through. So what is the way forward? What do you expect, Mr. Bole? What is your expectation?
Well, let's get into the introductory part here. Wherein I want to make a confession on the show. I wanted to try to be like you and other people who've been keeping the beer, but I don't think that thing can work for me. So I will get rid of this thing later on. But let's get to some serious things here. Let's get to some serious things here. I want to start off saying.
So if you have anything playing over there, you need to completely turn it off.
No, I don't. No, okay. I have nothing playing.
Okay.
So let's get to some serious business here, Mr. Fanny, because it's very important for us to talk about some of these things to enlighten our people. I want to recognize the Liberian people as the most important people before I go any forward. I also want to recognize the Liberian women as the most beautiful women on earth. I think this is just the truth of the matter, Mr. Kane. What do I expect? What do I hope for? Let me start out with some kind of clarity first. The last day of Dara Dillon's campaign at the United Party headquarters, I listened to the last few parts of his message to the people before the elections, which was on December 8th. He said that people should vote no to all propositions. You go to the very last part of the speech. And I was waiting for that moment when he said no. What it speaks to me, from what I understood, him saying people voting no to all propositions or everything that was on the ballot, it shows to me to some extent that maybe he's no longer in line with the initial stand he had. Remember, it was you, I, and a couple of people in the diaspora for the first round that supported Senator Dara Dillon. But yet, we stood against the fact that we thought he undermined people in the diaspora by signing off to that bill, by signing on that bill. I had a serious problem with him on that. Very serious. I contemplated my support for him because I felt he undermined the people in the diaspora. And I was one of the people that were very vocal. I don't know. It was that December of that year I was in Georgia. I sent him a message. but I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't go into that message part. But here is the issue though. I'm not sure from last year up to today if he's walked what he said back as to, hey, these restrictions are discriminatory. But on a bigger context though, let me tell to the Liberian people, we elected 15 senators. Whether they were from the CPP or from the CDT or from a political party or not, it doesn't make a difference. We elected 15 different people. Maybe only 3 or 4 went back. What am I trying to say? I am trying to say the sole responsibility should not be laid on just one person, which is maybe just Senator Dara Dillon. I believe all of them should be held accountable. I believe so. All of them should be held accountable. But notwithstanding, I have a serious reservation that I'm still waiting to see. I'm waiting for the next few days or the next few weeks when they return and see the first agendas that it will start tackling, the things that it will start going on. Now, this is what I want to say today, though. If they were to skip some of the things that they need to do and go back to them, such as bringing in the security apparatus, such as investigating people for key issues, if they were to skip it and say, let's move forward, like we have in this our Liberian mentality, wherein we just got to forget about everything and move forward, then I would say we are in a big trouble. But I saw something that I thought was very concerning that I need to talk about, because this has the potential to affect the bigger agenda, which is I don't expect, which is a better Liberia. And let me say this for me personally, I don't expect anything from any one of the senators that I supported that got elected. I don't expect any kind of personal benefit. I don't want anything from them. As a matter of fact, I don't want any governmental job. What I expect is for them to do right by Liberia and the Liberian people. That's what I expect. Do your job without compromise. Do your job. Just stick with your job. Do your job. Don't do too much. You are not a hero. You can't be a hero. Do your job. Do the right thing. That's what I expect. But I saw something that has the potential of being a problem. And let me start pinpointing them up here today. One of the things I saw was I personally call it the dishonoring of Samuel Johnson. Even though I didn't support Samuel Johnson, but I saw it as a dishonor to Samuel Johnson. I saw it as a dishonor to Samuel Johnson. Because Samuel Johnson did not win in less than any official capacity at this point. Everything is preliminary. I saw people with Ellen Melvin Snow in Bombing County. That was concerning for me. For me, that's the first strike. You know, some of us will not do this sensational thing. I hear people say, oh, you can put emotion in politics. You can't talk emotional talk in politics. Let me say this to everybody that thinks that way. Anyone that thinks that way, you're mistaken. Your emotions go with you in everything you do, in anything you do. You just have to control it. Don't be over emotional. But emotions are in everything we do. Now, if emotions are not in what we do, then probably you are not human or you're fake. But emotions are in things that we do. So let's keep that real. Folks will say, oh, don't add emotions to politics. Emotions are being hurt in this process.
Your
so we get serious.
Your voice was breaking for some reason. Maybe somebody calling you, right?
No, nobody called me.
Okay,
you can hear me?
Yes.
So I was saying, let me go back to what I said. Anyone who thinks or says no emotion should be in politics, you are mistaken. You are either fake or you don't understand that everything we do as human emotions go with us. They're part of our natural being as human beings. And so when someone tells me don't put emotion in politics, what you're simply trying to tell me is you don't care about somebody else who's hurt in this process. You don't. Because if you cared enough, you will understand that in politics, you are dealing with human beings and people's emotions will be hurt when you don't do the right thing. So the bigger picture I'm trying to bring out here is just the mingling with Edwin Snow, the mingling with what a guy named from Emmanuel Peno from CDC, Bernie Samoka from UP. When we start to say these things, Zoe Emmanuel Peno from CDC.
Yeah.
Some stand to benefit from that, or some group of people stand to benefit from that. Mr. Kana is not adding up to me. I don't want to talk much into it yet because, again, I want to see the agenda. Somebody is playing some kind of games here in order to gain people around it in a cycle for it to be about them. We've seen this before. It just come in a different form now. We've seen it before. I will say this, and then maybe we can move forward to the next thing. Mr. Kana, I will say this. It's not always about winning, but it should always be about doing the right thing. It should never be about winning. It should be about doing the right thing.
Let me I understand that's a good point you just struck, but let me ask you about this. You know, Liberia is a different country. We all know that. We have said that time with our number. Now, in the past election, or let's say the past couple of elections, the one that brought Dillon to power the first time, and this time around, have shown a different dynamics if it comes to Liberian politics. They have shown us that Liberians in the diaspora are very powerful. Despite the social media, we are also powerful when it comes to financial support. They say put your money where your mouth is. But you put your money into something for a reason. What good is Liberia to you, myself, when we have no take in it? So for me, I think it's important that Liberians in the diaspora have a say. For example, we are in the United States here. Every elections here in the United States, Americans all over the world, they vote. And maybe somebody will say, well, America is a different country. America is one of the biggest country in the world, or maybe you will say the biggest country in the world in terms of democracy. But right there in neighboring Guinea, when the elections are going on in Guinea, especially general election, Guineans in America, in other part of the world, they vote. Likewise, articles in other countries around Africa and around the world. But we Liberians, we only support. We support, we give moral support, we also give financial support. So now, what is the prospect of the people that we are helping to elect to seek our interest? By definition, I will term interest in this particular discussion to make us feel like a Liberian again. When I say us, I'm talking about every Liberian who are not residing in Liberia, but they are elsewhere, but they have political interest in Liberia. They want to participate, they want to vote. Besides, the voting part, the so-called referendum that people just voted against in Liberia was it was kind of restricting Liberians. Not only was discriminatory to like other Liberians, but restricting to the level where you can only support financially, you can only give your moral support to other people, but you as a Liberian in the diaspora, you're not even qualified to run for elective office. So the help that we are giving to those our friends and brothers in Liberia and sisters, are they ready to seek our interests as well? To make sure that Liberians in the diaspora are also participant in our democracy. Because the tenets of democracy is about, is about participation, freedom of participation, and the will to participate and make a decision. So, and if you are not part of that, how good is that democracy? So do you think, or should we, Liberians, demand people that we are supporting to seek our interests?
So, Mr. Kennedy, that's a loaded question that has to be addressed maybe in more than one way. So the first part of that question is, can we trust people who we've supported to come to be elected, push our agenda? I'll say to you, I wouldn't take that risk. Because the truth of the matter is, just the bill alone that was passed, wherein Liberians in the diaspora are restricted, just that bill in alone, had that bill passed, or had that referendum passed, or so forth, it's a serious discrimination against us in the diaspora. But here is the biggest answer to that question. It is not necessarily incumbent upon the people who are in Liberia, who we support to elect to seek our interest in the diaspora. Not necessarily. What we in the diaspora need to do, and I was fortunate to speak to somebody behind closed doors about similar things sometime last week, so that we can start strategizing and start speaking in ahead now, is we now need to unite and present something through these lawmakers that is our interest so that it can benefit us. It's like I've always said on Facebook or other places. I've said most of the time, just for example's sake, women honor man their own interest. Men don't honor man their interest. The reason I say that is if we go to march for rape, for example, who's supposed to be in the forefront of the marching for rape? And are women, because the men can be raping women. But women don't do that. They take men and put them in front, or they go to these same men to seek permission from these men who are raping them. What do you expect them to do? They will suppress you. So what am I saying? I am saying that the first conversation that needs to be held, those of us in the diaspora, we need to sit down and say, gentlemen, ladies, who all won't be involved with political affairs? You won't run for office in Liberia? Let us know. The second thing we need to do is we need now to come up with documents. Documents, for example, I was talking to somebody yesterday on the phone. We talked for a very long time. And I was telling this person that it is critically important now that we in the diaspora start to enforce the issue of justice and accountability in Liberia. Other people might term it as war and economic crimes courts. And not only that, I was telling another person again last week, like I said, that it is important now, since this bill did not pass against us, we in the diaspora need to say, put documentations together and say, Senator Dillon, Senator Yomli Kanga, Senator X, Senator John, Senator this. This is what we in the diaspora want. We want you now. This is a bill. We want you to please push this bill for us, so that it can benefit us too. Because if politics is interest, then politics is interest should be for the masses, not for an individual or for a group of people. It should be for the masses to benefit every Liberian. So I agree with you that yes, we need to start having a conversation and start initiating now where we can have our voting rights or where we can maintain dual citizenship. But that conversation needs to be started by us. Not necessarily those that are back there. Because those that are back there, the truth of the matter is, I don't care how you put it, they will seek their interest first. It seems more to them like it's a competition. And that's where we are stuck. So we need to start this conversation here now.
So now, if I may, so should we demand it, or if they fail, let's say, okay, let's demand it, and if they fail to listen to us, if they fail to seek our interest, should we continue to support people who care less about our interest as diaspora Liberians?
Well, I want to use the word demand in this context. To be very honest, I want to use the word demand.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm asking you.
No. I personally want to use the word demand because there are many different ways you can kill a snake. Sometimes you can feed a snake. Sometimes you can pet the snake. You don't always have to just go and kill the snake. Mr. Kane, let's be very frank. Let's be very frank here. Politics are money.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I think it was in October or in November, I talked to Victor on the phone. And I told Victor one of the strategies that we can use in the diaspora to get whatever the CPP, the government, or whoever it is, to be able to adhere, to listen to us in the diaspora. Because if politics requires money and all these connections, we have them here. We can call shots. We can. Oh, yes, we can. We just don't understand that we can call shots. We are not just united enough to make this happen. But if we were to come on the table and say, gentlemen, this is what we need to do to benefit us in the diaspora, benefit our people back home, primarily the people back home. But yes, we in the diaspora, we can have a say. I said, for example, let's give a typical example. Every Facebook talk show host can choose not to talk for the CPP and just do the regular thing for the next few months until the CPP falls in line with certain demands. You see, these are things people do. So let's take, for example, if we want to influence now the conversation back home, it can no longer be about, oh, let's collect money for this person, let's collect money for that person. Wait, if we are collecting money for you, if we are doing this, if we are doing that, what are you doing to benefit people in the diaspora? What are you doing? So now we need to start reaching out to them, reaching out to the offices and say, these are our plights. We want you guys to include it into your petitions or whatever you'll be bringing on the floor. Let's look into it to benefit. Too long. Let me say this to everybody listening and those who are listening, those who will listen later in the diaspora. Let me say this. Too long we have been used as pawns. Too long we have been used as stooges. Too long we have been giving our all to Liberia and to Liberians, our home and our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our fathers. It's about time that we don't just do the talking. It's about time we come to the table, sit to the table. Let's be part of the decision making. And I'm not saying people should run from here and go look for a job in Liberia or do like a job thing. No, that's not what I'm saying. I am saying let's come to the table constructively and see where we can all work together to move Liberia forward, because Liberia moving forward will have to depend on us in the diaspora. To be very frank, it has to depend on us heavily. It has to rely on us.
Okay, so based on what I saw after the bill was passed in the legislature in Liberia, many Liberians were reactionary against it, and some even took a fight with Senator DeLong. And I personally, I think if you can recall, I personally took upon myself and spoke to a lot of people behind the scene and tell them, hey, let it go. This is the first time. Let's consider this as a first mistake by Senator DeLong. Consider it first mistake. Let's see. DeLong stand to do a lot for Liberia and Liberians. So this one mistake, we shouldn't, trash him because of that. Let's give him another chance. Let's support him. Let's see what happens. Now, DeLong is elected for 9 years. DeLong was only elected for 9 months that time. Now DeLong is elected for 9 years. DeLong can choose to support our agenda if we want, or our demands if we want, as Liberians in the diaspora. He can also choose to ignore us and say, hey, man, I already got my 9 years, so I don't care. I'm not going to go for it anymore. That's why the tenure in Liberia for Senate and the president is very long, even the House of Representatives. But let's assume that DeLong stay where he doesn't care. He already elected for 9 years. So what do we do? Look for another savior again? Or what do we do? I mean, put fire behind DeLong and other people? I just say, you know what, okay, since DeLong don't care, they may care more about other things in Liberia, so let's just support him regardless. Our interest is not that important.
Well, here is the issue, though. This is what we have not understood, the power that we have. Again, I go back to that. Election does not mean the end of the word. Elections has to be maintained with sustainability. And that sustainability has to come with connections, contacts, finances, and other resources. So that being said, remember I said on the show before, if Dara DeLong changes, I would change. But I will remain consistent to the truth. And that is, I will come again and denounce my support for him, withdraw my support for him, encourage other people that will listen to me to withdraw their support for him, give them reason why they should. But at the same time, ensure that whatever agenda he wants to carry on for himself is not carried out. It's very simple. Very, very simple. Any agenda that is against the Liberian people, from anybody, whether that DeLong, whether that Dodge Ria, whether that whoever it is, it doesn't make a difference. The Liberian people must resist it. Those in the diaspora must stand together for it. Look, I think the only thing that we can do, look, the bigger work is ahead, Mr. Kane. The bigger work was not about bringing DeLong back into office or bringing these guys back into office. The bigger work is to hold them accountable while they are in office. That is where the problem is. The problem was not voting them in, because anybody can vote anybody in. But the ability for them to be able to hold them accountable, while supporting them for them to do the work that they were called to do, or they were elected to do. So let's take, for example, we have, through the grace of God, elected 15 different senators. And we want change. So we, the people, cannot revert into praise and worshiping and being scared of these people to hold them accountable for the reason, the change we want. We cannot do that. That was the mistake we made with the CDC-led government, and that's why we are. That's why we are where we are today. We thought electing the CDC-led government was doing them a favor, so people pass around and praise and worship them. I want to conscientize everybody and want all of us that are listening. Let us not praise and worship anybody. This is the time we hold them accountable. Don't get mad when somebody come on and say, "I expect Senator Barras Delon to keep on the light. I expect him to not get brown envelope." Don't say, "Oh, it's too early. I don't get a man happen. It's too early." No, it's not too early. That is the work they were elected to do. So we must act now. If we see any funny thing, we point it out, we speak about it. Let us not talk about it in our throats. But the most important thing is this, Mr. Kane. Let's say, for example, Senator Yomdi Kanga decides to change and she decides to align with CDC and they're not doing the right thing for the Liberian people. Guess what happened? You owe Senator, look, you owe loyalty to the truth and the right thing. You don't owe it to an individual because the office will always be there. People will come and go. Once the individual sticks with the issue, sticks with the truth and with the people, we stick with you. So that's the mentality we should have. Once the individual is not flip-flopping and moving around and doing different things, let's say, for example, I'm hearing, around the tables, I'm hearing Edwin Medicino name, I'm hearing Fernandi Kofa name of coming to be deputy speaker and all of that. What I've written was, let's check the track records. Let's check the track records. Let's see how they voted before. Let's see it. You see, and this is why we are going to be writing Senator Dawes, to encourage him for them to put for the electronic voting so we can know how people are voting. Because your vote, if it's in our interest, even if you were to lose in the process, but if you were standing with the people, Mr. Kane, you've done the right thing. You've done the right thing, and you must be rewarded.
So let's say if you were to choose as to what should be on your priority list in terms of what you would like to see done, a list that would benefit the diaspora Liberians, what would be number one on your list?
Well, I think one of the most important things is for me personally, it's not an issue. For me, it's not an issue of dual citizenship. Okay. Let me be honest with you, because I know I'm a bona fide born Liberian. Nobody can take that from me. I don't care what you do. It can't be taken away. But one of the things I would like to see, off the bat for us who are in the diaspora is voting rights. Voting rights. Our voices on the table. Voting rights is critically important because voting rights encompasses, because let's say, for example,
but it seems like voting rights is somehow connected to the dual citizenship, because
well, that's what I'm saying.
If your citizenship is kind of stripped away, how are you going to be qualified to vote?
So the thing about it is, I don't want one part of the pie. I want to right. I want both of them together. So I'm not going to say let's focus on dual citizenship, because that would be a trap. Because they will pay you dual citizenship and restrict you. But if they want to pay you voting, what they are implying indirectly, they say indirectly that, hey, you maintain your citizenship. That's why you're able to vote. So I don't want to focus on the dual citizenship part. No. I want to focus on voting right. Bring me to the table so that I cannot be considered as internet citizen. Oh, you ain't got no voting card. You ain't got no voting card. You see? So voting right for me will be one of the things where we can incorporate people. Voting right will be critically important. All of us in the diaspora.
So in essence, should we hold them accountable generally or individually? Let's say CPP as an example. Everybody know, and even the ruling party, they are clearly aware that the support of the CPP, the support base for the CPP is in the diaspora. Assuming that CPP failed to really recognize some of the things that you were just mentioning, or even to take on it, they want to focus on whatever they want to do, self-serving agenda and their personal egos to enrich themselves like they've been doing in the past. assuming that be the case, and diaspora being the support base for the CPP, should the diaspora Liberian unite against the same people that they help put into power, or should they find a different remedy?
The first part of that question is, I wouldn't answer as a yes or no, because I don't want it to seem like a trap question. But the first part of that question, Mr. Kana, is diaspora Liberians should unite. At the very first part to that question, we should unite. I think that's very important because, like Obama said, we can chew gum and walk at the same time. So what I mean by that is, somebody can be pushing war crime core agenda, another person can be pushing monetary policies, another group of people can be pushing the issue of gender-based violence. There is nothing wrong with us having all of that together, but we need to unite. So once we unite and the CPP is not adhering to things that will move the country forward and benefit the country, forget the CPP. Look, you are not loyal to a group of people, and this is where the problem is. People are loyal to people, and it's a problem. You can't be loyal to people if they're not doing the right thing. It makes you, because then you got to get up and make excuses for them. It speaks volume of you, not of the person. Because if you are going to be loyal to people, if that person changes, then you either make excuses for them or you got to join them. The issue is not about joining people or not joining people. The issue is about sticking with the truth and the right thing being done. So once you stick with the truth, stick with the right thing being done, I don't care who comes in office. They will have to succumb, like we say. They'll have to succumb or they'll have to adhere to the right thing, the standards, the rules. That's it. So let's take, for example, in America, we elect presidents. The presidents don't just come and change the law. When you elect a city mayor or you elect a police director, they don't come and say, "Oh, you know, the traffic light order that I can take people picture when the red light." They don't come and say, "Let's take it out." No, they come into the office. The rules are set up, regulations are there. They must abide by it. If they refuse to abide by it, they're out. The next person come in. So you see, so that's how it's supposed to be. So I think if we in the diaspora stick with the issues, stick with the facts, and the right thing being done, putting aside our personal wants, wishes, and other things, I think that will benefit us. Putting aside our personal benefit, because one of the things I have noticed about all of us in the diaspora, everybody seems to get some kind of personal little agenda on our cover. And so when these personal little agendas seem to be tampered with, people start to have frictions and problems. And this personal agenda not necessarily will benefit the people, though. No, it's not necessarily to benefit the people. It's probably to benefit a certain group of people that want some kind of contact or favor from the government, or they want to be in a certain position to do certain things, or so forth, or they want some kind of appointment in the next government or the current government, so they go against the will to do something that will impact the lives of people, that will affect the people in the wrong way. And this is where the problem lies. So I think if we come together in unity and speak with one voice, with transparency, it has to start from here, though. It has to start from here. We'll be transparent with one another. We'll hold each other accountable. If somebody does wrong, we'll say, yes, this person did wrong. We'll hold them accountable, and we'll hold them by the rules of law and move forward. The people in Liberia, the lawmakers and other people will fall in line. They will. They will.
So, okay, let's say you spoke about the people somehow seeing them, aligning themselves with people like Edwin Snow, Representative Snow, who is newly elected senator, and not only concerning, but he defeated one of the CPP's candidate. And right after the defeat of that CPP candidate, who is still in office, but then all of a sudden the entire CPP lined up behind Edwin Snow. What message are they sending?
So, and that's where I was a little tipped off. Mr. Kana, let me say this. You cannot want to do the right thing and mingle with the wrong people and expect to do the right thing. It is not possible. You must either stand to do the right thing or just stay and be a crook and be in the middle and be doing that funny thing that and they always win Liberia. Just do it. Stop playing games. Let me say this. Edwin Snow has not changed. Edwin Snow will not change. Let's go back to Edwin Snow. Let's look at Edwin Snow himself, what he has done. Let's just give a brief record of him. First of all, Edwin Snow has been around for a very long time in the Liberian politics. Edwin Snow understands the tricks of the Liberian politics. Edwin Snow knows what to do at what time, and what he wants, not necessarily what the people want. And so these are individuals you must be careful with. There's a kind of, let me say this, maybe that's just me. That's why I hear people saying, oh, politics is a dirty game. Politics is not a dirty game. People who come to politics are already dirty, so they don't other people there. Good people can come to politics. Yes. Honorable people can come to politics and serve honorably to benefit the people, to do their job. Yes. Let's not go with this mentality that politics is a dirty game. No, it is not a dirty game. It is the people that are in there that are doing dirty things so that other people can benefit. Edwin Snow just left the United Party to run his own independent.
And then to your point, not only that Snow just left, he left the CDC because he was not the ideal candidate for the CDC. The CDC choose what's his name? The former Speaker Tyler over him. That's the reason why he left the CDC and went independent. Besides, for the time he has been serving, he has been in bed with the CDC. He has been in bed with George Weah. He has supported their agenda in every step of the way. Now that he's elected, his decision to caucus with the CPP is in revenge to the CDC, not any kind of a genuine, genuine in him to say, for the betterment of Liberia. But you know what? Let me settle score with these guys because they choose other person over me. So because of that, I will decide to go with the CPP. But then Snow stays Snow. Snow actions stay represent Snow. But then one will argue CDC or CPP trying to get more people in the Senate to pass their agenda. But then the question remains, how good is the CPP when CPP is incorporating people with bad record, with tainted record, and how can the CPP be trusted if only they bring people on board based on political expediency, but not for the betterment of Liberia? Because if it is about the betterment of Liberia, the people's record will be highly considered when you are bringing them, on board. Or you just want anybody? So for me, I think not only Representative Snow, anybody, even Sandra Johnson was not that much of a good person in terms of their record, political records in Liberia. And if Liberia must change, if we want Liberia to change, how can Liberia change when we keep recycling the same people that we say they're bad? How is it going to change?
So, Mr. Cannon, let me ask this question before I go into that. If we have to tell you, Mr. Cannon, that if you, Mr. Cannon, was a senator, you were a senator, and you had to write a bill that says every Liberian in Nima, because you're from Nima, every Liberian in Nima County, I'm a senator there, should benefit from the resources of Nima County. Isn't that the right thing?
Yes.
Do you need to caucus on that for people to vote for it? It's not the right thing.
It is the right thing.
Exactly. So why must we caucus to vote for the right thing? when that's what, in fact, you were elected to do. If you are the father of your house, and one of your responsibilities is to provide food, does your children need to go and cry in the house before you can provide food? Then you are no longer father, you're irresponsible man. Let's put it that way. What am I trying to say? I am trying to say, what is the CPP's agenda that we don't know about? What is their agenda? When we said they should provide with a freeware document and the same thing we're going to be talking about an 8-year-old, because we want to know what the agenda is. What is the CPP's agenda? What is it? That the first question we need to ask. What is the CPP agenda? Now, if the CPP has an agenda that we don't know about, first of all, the second thing is, what does the CPP stand for, though? So that everybody you are there allowed to come, and that everybody you are there allowed to go out. So that means, guess what happened? Our one is welcome back in the CPP. You see what I'm saying? That means many Paka, let's be frank, many Paka is welcome back in the CPP. Everybody who left, whether you lost or you win, you are welcome back in the CPP, because you know what? The CPP is just accepting people. Mr. Kane, there are problems. These are problems. When we point them out, people say, yeah, want to buy for everybody. These are problems. These are problems. And these are bigger problems, because what we are doing, in essence, is we are welcoming back the same people that did the damage. The only thing these guys are doing is they're only coming back again because they see new brand of people that they want to come and influence to do the same thing that they have been doing. It's not about change. It is not about change. Because if Edwin Snowden wanted to change, they would have changed long time. It is not about change. Edwin Snowden been voting with CDC, been in bed with CDC. Imagine the opposition has the largest number now. I stand to be correct, in both houses. They couldn't do nothing. They sided with George Weah all this time. You think they're really going to change? So the few people that want to bring things or that think about changes or whatever it is, the handful of people, that's what happened. They want to wrap around them as a cover up. This is a problem, and we need to discuss it. We need to talk about it. So when we see Dallas Dillon and other people there who we think have brought some sense, we're not saying they're angels. We're not saying that they will not do wrong. We're not saying that they have not done wrong. But if we see them with some senses in their head and landing with the same guys that have done the same wrong thing, you expect them to shut up? We'll talk about it first. Because when it goes wrong today or tomorrow, nobody can blame anybody. And that's where we stand.
Okay, folks, once again, we want to welcome all of you. We want to say thank you to all of you for joining us. This is SKTV. Just as a reminder, we are live on Facebook on SKTV. We are also live on Facebook on Sekou Kene, my personal account. We are also live on YouTube. So we are everywhere. If you are watching us, I want to say thank you for joining us. Wheresoever you are, you can say you can't find us any longer. So those of you who are now finding or getting the notification, you are free to watch us on my personal account. You are free to watch us on YouTube. Our motive here is not about how many people are watching us on SKTV. We just want to make sure the message go across, regardless of where you find us. So I want to say thank you to all of you. We are improving on SKTV on a daily basis. And this will not be possible without your participation and your contribution to the platform, whether it's moral, financial, even though not so much, but whatever support you are giving to SKTV, we appreciate it. Your being here alone means a lot to us. So I just pinned the number for you to call and participate. The direct number is 480-401-2081, or you can call the WhatsApp number 202-871-6800. Call in and participate and tell us what are your expectations. What do you think the senators should do, or the legislature as a whole should do, that will benefit diaspora Liberians? You can call in anytime, and we will take your call and have your say. So, Mr. Bole, going back to to the discussion, in as much as we are talking about doing things for us as diaspora Liberians, the Liberians in Liberia that are being supported by Liberians in the diaspora, what do you expect of them? To join us, Liberian in the diaspora, to fight, to also protect our interests as we have been fighting for their interest? Or they will just be there waiting for us to support them? Are they ready to support us? Or do you think we can make the argument that Liberians in Liberia should also help diaspora Liberians to pass our agenda, to support our causes? Let's say, for example, we want this thing to happen, but we cannot do it alone. Do we expect Liberians in Liberia to participate or to join us in our fight for us Liberians in the diaspora to have a voting right?
First of all,
so people can call anytime. Anytime when somebody call, we can call to interrupt us, but we are just paying the number for you to be a part of the conversation. You can choose to be a part of it, or you can choose to just listen. We can talk the whole day and we will not get tired. We will not even say everything we want to say. But we have to make it a participatory conversation so you can call in and participate. Mr. Bole, go ahead.
So first of all, the first thing that needs to be done is we need to break the stigma and the stereotypes, especially when it comes to our communication, our relationship with the people back home. To be very frank, it has to be a collaborative work. Mr. Kane, all of the maybe books I've been able to read, or all of the history I've been able to follow or watch on TV or so forth, I've come to the understanding that it takes people from the diaspora to really make changes. Even in the life, in biblical history, for someone who are Christians, always told people who travel out of the country, whether are different things, whether from Israel they went to Egypt, they learned and came back and brought those skills and other things and built and other things. That's how it works. But here is the thing though. Here's the caveat to this. Here's the caveat to this. The people in the diaspora also must not undermine, disrespect, look down, or step down on the people in Liberia. We must not do that. We must honor them as well. Because when we were gone, they were there. And if we meet them there, we can work together to move forward. It can't be a competition thing. I can't say because I came from America, so I'm better than somebody who in Liberia who never have similar opportunity than me to treat them a certain way. And this, I think, this is where the fear, some of the fear lies. Also, when it comes to the job and other things.
All right, we have a call coming in.
Go ahead.
Let's take the first caller. Caller, what is your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Mr. Carter, how you doing? How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. This is Smith calling from Boston, Massachusetts.
Smith from Boston, Massachusetts. Go ahead. I mean, what do you think? What are your expectations for, for our, newly elected senators to do for us as Liberians in the diaspora?
I listened to my brother Ole. Ole has said it all. Staying back home, or there's this tendency when somebody wants a woman, and when the woman is ahead of you, or you're ready for the woman, you start to scratch your head and knowing not what to tell the woman until your friend will wrap up and tell the woman something. You say, "Oh, you love for my death." That should not be the case.
That again, I wanted to love to.
Thank you.
But you know what? But you know how the boss to tell her.
No, that should not be the case here. We should tell these senators exactly what our priorities are. It's just simple, and that's just the matter truth. What is not lying about it? That's just the truth. You don't support people all because you want to support them, or you want. If you want to bring change, you should be able to be part of the change, not just be a supporter of that change. So the diaspora Liberians should be part of the change that will take place in Liberia. The new Liberia we want, the diaspora Liberians should be the full part of it. We shouldn't beat around the bush that we should put things and stand and say, "Oh, yeah, diaspora Liberians will want to be part of the government or the governing arm of the country." We should be. We want change. Why do you think people supporting the people? Why do you think we keep supporting the country? I don't want government job, but what has said it all. It's just the fact. Whether somebody like it or not, that's just the truth. The diaspora Liberia need to put agenda together. They need to start to do it now if we want Liberia to change. And those agendas that will be put together should be presented to our legislatures. And they should be able to push it forward if only we want Liberia to develop. Not just by mainstream. But those agendas should be prepared. They should be put together now and presented to those people.
So I mean, my brother, that is a very good suggestion. But if I may ask you, how do we go about that? How do we get started? Who should lead the cause, of that? Who should lead the charge? If you will, who should lead the charge?
Okay, let me tell you now. Those that should lead the charge are those that we supported quite recently.
Are they do we know whether or not they are willing to do so? Because it seems like everybody, only care for themselves.
Mr. Ghana.
Yes, sir.
There's nothing to sugarcoat here. If we want direct belong and we contact those people who support here, we make the agenda and give it to them. It's just simple as that. And they need to deal with it. If they can't deal with it, we just leave them alone. It's like you put a ladder on somebody and a ladder to plant on top of the horse to change your zinc. And while the person is done with changing the zinc, they decide to come down and say, oh, wow, looking down, I can't see the ladder. You remove it. It's just simple.
Okay, so if I may ask you, should we put this squarely on DeLong and Yombly and other people in the Senate, or should we extend days to those people who are vying for the presidency, the likes of former Vice President JNB, or Yombly Kanga Lawrence, who is also a political leader, or Mr. Benina Ure, who is also a political leader, or Mr. President Cummings, who is also who once a resident of the diaspora Liberia. So should we really put the burden on only senators, or should we extend it to those people who are vying for the presidency?
I like the question. In every town or in every village, there's a town chief. Okay. And that town chief has a town crier. And what do you do when the town chief wants to relay message? What does the town chief do when he wants to relay the message to the entire council that people can hear it?
They will give it to the town crier.
Exactly. We have these people that we supported quite recently. We gave our agenda to them. If they can present it to their political leaders, and the political leaders cannot see to say that these people, they need they need to be part of this, and we agree to some of their suggestions, some of the things that they want for this country to go to, or some of the things that they want to happen in this country. If they can't go by it, we should leave them. If they have woman here today, and now woman trying to there's something in my brother still playing your account and she want to be all want to play together. No, man, you just change your and bring different one. That's it. It's that simple.
Yeah, but I mean, how do we go about changing somebody that is elected for a term of 9 years and that person flip on you the next day or the next year? I mean, what do you do?
Simple. That's a way. Look, the diaspora that's doing. The power to get is too much. I don't know how many of you know that. It's too much. Those in Liberia, okay. We can still influence the same very place that it works. We can influence that place to remove you. What are you talking about, simple? What is it? It's a dirty game. We're not about to get dirty. It's that simple.
All right.
It's not dirty to us, it's dirty to you.
My brother, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you.
All right. So let's go to the WhatsApp line. Call out with 231 number. I think this is Liberia. What is your name and where you calling from?
Good evening, Mr. Cullen. This is Rosa Pat from Liberia. My analysis or my attention have been due to the issue of the CPP.
All right, go ahead.
No couple of time I've been vocal on the CPP. Yeah, then people were like, asking me what am I vocal on the CPP. But I do believe that the CPP has not done anything or it doesn't stand for the cause. Okay, for example, what I'm trying to say is that if the CPP try to follow a candidate, I think if you are a member of that CPP, you should go and support every candidate that the CPP put for. But you cannot leave and go into another country to contest as an independent candidate, and when you lost, and then return to the CPP and the CPP accept you. My question is, what does the CPP stand for? So this is my question to the CPP. I think they are not doing the right thing. They got different things they are giving, and then they are implementing different things on the outside world. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Where do you say you are calling from again?
I'm calling from Liberia.
Where specifically? Montserrado, Morovia, or Grand Basso, Bomi?
I am speaking for Cinco.
Cinco. All right. Thank you. Thank you, my sister. Thank you very much.
All right.
She says CPP is not doing their job. They have one thing on the paper and they're doing something different. So call up 240 number. Are you there?
Yes.
What is your name and where are you calling from?
This is Sarah calling from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Sarah, my sister, how you doing?
I'm fine, people.
So what do you think?
Sorry for interrupting.
Go ahead.
I wanted to ask some questions, and I know you will have the answer, and Steve will have the answer. I want to know if all the different countries that President we are live in, if he never had status in the countries before going to Liberia to be a president. And the next one is that his wife is a citizen for the United States of America, and she went and she voted in our country. We are the born citizen for that country because we left the country because of war, and we came here with natural law ourselves. They're not allowing us to go back to vote in our own country. So why did they not go? I know you go to be who he and who. So
one bodike.
Thank you. He voted in our election. So why is we the born citizens they denying us? I want to know those questions then.
That's a very good question. Thank you very much. We will try to answer it. We may not answer it to the satisfaction of everybody, but we will try.
Okay.
All right, my sister. Thank you. So, Steve, you want to respond to that?
Yes, I think the sister or the mother raised a very important question, a very important concern. Comes back to the issue of dual citizenship and the priority of the Senate, what they're going to do and what they're going to investigate. And one of the things I said here earlier on was the Senate, one of the things I will be watching for personally is if they're going to revisit some of these cases or some of these things that they could not do, such as Wambodiski. Bring Wambodiski to the table. And we'll come to George Weah, his wife. Wambodiski should not even be there. So my question now is, what are they going to do? Wambodiski or Nambodiski or whatever.
Wambodiki.
Okay, Wambodiki.
Yeah.
Remember listening in the language?
No, me, I know the man a long time ago because I dislike him being, in the position he's in right now, because knowing him to be a criminal,
right,
and to be the one to be heading the anti-corruption commission, how you put a corruption king to to prosecute other people for corruption when he's the one in fact the most corrupt person. The first corruption, the man is not a citizen of Liberia, and that position required the person to be a citizen of Liberia. And this man admitted in the Senate chamber that he got 3 different birthdays. How ugly could he be? More than that. So go ahead and conclude in this call.
Exactly, and these are some of the things that we'll be looking at the Senate, some of the moves, if they're going to make these critical, strategic, important, essential moves. If they're going to do that. If they start to do that, we see that there are some semblance of changes. But on a bigger note, because I don't have the facts about George Weah being citizens of other countries, being a citizen of other country, I wouldn't speak much about it. I've seen paperwork. I'm here to double check on it, to be very frank. I don't want to come here and be some kind of way about certain things. On the issue of George Weah's wife, I know she's a Jamaican. because she was born in Jamaica. I know she's a Jamaican. Now the question is, if she's an American citizen and she holds our passport, see, these are some of the things we in the diaspora need to start looking at as to employ some of the laws on this side to ensure that she is held accountable. But how can we do that? We have to be united. These are discussions we are having. These are conversations we are having behind closed doors as to see how best we can hold these people accountable. So the sister or the mother shouldn't worry. It will get better. Don't worry.
But again, before I go to the next caller, if she is a citizen of the United States, or maybe citizen of Jamaica, assuming that she is a naturalized citizen of Liberia, assuming, I'm not sure, I have no documentation to prove, but assuming that she is a naturalized citizen of Liberia, and she's voting, she will really worry about Liberians living in the diaspora who have acquired other citizenship in the United States or maybe somewhere in Europe. Should they be worried if the president's wife can vote? There's no way she can be a natural born citizen. We know that. So if she can vote, no matter by whatever means, all Liberians should be worried under Judge Wheeler leadership whether or not they are qualified to vote, or maybe they are qualified to run for elective positions. The only thing I think Liberians should focus on is to how you can vote here in the United States or elsewhere around the world when you are a Liberian. But in terms of voting in Liberia or voting right in Liberia, if that is a law, you think that law has been abrogated one way or the other by the president and his family?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. If in terms of law and Mr. Connor, it was siding for one retired military man who is a Liberian who doesn't come on Facebook or so forth. He said to me, this is what he said to me. He said, my son, I don't understand your country. I don't understand the president. I said, what happened? He said, look, how can the president, a president of a nation, be in cahoots with people to break the law? And you still got him there. How? He said, I don't blame the president for doing that. I blame the senators. So these are things that the senators need to be looking into. Look, remember I said from the beginning, let them do like that. Me that ask for nothing. The day I visit Labrador, and I'm going to visit no senator office, I don't want to see you, and I get time for you. I get time for you doing the post job. We are okay. You see me in the streets, I say hello. You not say hello, keep it moving. So long you do the post job, I suppose you not do the post job, we get problem.
All right.
And that's it.
Let's take another caller. Caller 763 number. Are you there?
Yep.
What is your name and where you calling from?
Hello.
Yes.
This is Ben. How are you?
Ben, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good.
Welcome.
And the cat time is good. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
So, I mean, let me just say something towards the citizenship a little bit. I kind of read something about it. So, in Jamaica, they have dual citizenship. So, that gives her the right to have citizenship in another country. In Liberia, our nationalization laws give the president there are specific, they call them, I can't recall the right language, but I will send a document to you where the president honor if he has a foreign first lady, the provision can allow her to give citizenship in Liberia. But I will send that document to you so that you can familiarize yourself with it. Because I mean, doing election, a lot of people had problem with why was he voting. So I kind of started researching it, and I found one reason why that could be possible. I don't know if all things have changed, but I have the document to substantiate that among our laws, those things are possible. But let's come to the CPP. Let's have said the CPP has a lot of stuff that needs to be corrected. And we hope that these new groups that join will bring some changes because some of us we were praying so hard. Some of us were praying so hard for this nationalization stuff to pass. Some of us we are completely done. I mean, some people said, "Oh, well, you can become a American citizen and then go to Liberia, and then nobody will know." And then I said, "Well, that's a lie."
So you're saying that you were praying for the past with all the discrimination attached to it?
And I'll tell you why. So the reason here is that the people who have known why those things were said already know them. Most people knew. The only thing that the people who have done is to have told the government that they did not want in those things. That's not being the argument. But to just pass to let them out and like these guys over the corner for another 9 years. Another 9 years. When we go to sit down with those criminals and say, can you remove some of these bastards so that this thing can go through? If we can Liberia for the next 20 years, all of the people in the hinterland, we're the same people that will be explaining these things to them. And some of us do not want to lie. You go and get the emergency citizenship, then you go and hide it. I do not want to be ashamed of my country to go to Liberia and then put my U.S. passport in the back of my pocket. I want to tell you that I am a Liberian and I also hold a U.S. citizenship. Look,
what about the restriction? Does that bother you?
It does. Some of it really bothers me. But that's what I'm saying. That's what being the argument. The argument was being like, oh, guys, can we take up some of these things that are discriminatory? But the truth of what they're wrong, look, some of us in this country now, there are certain jobs we just cannot do. You can't do it. There are certain places, certain hospitals I just cannot work in. Only because I have a green card. You can't do it. But if you have a citizenship, that's citizenship. You can work. So I hope this new center we have, they can revisit, this nationalization stuff, so that some of us can benefit from it. I do not want to be a shy. I just do not want to be shy to tell anybody that I'm a Liberian and I have a U.S.
All right, Ben. Ben, anyway, by the way, I just saw the cash app that you sent, as you promised. So, folks, Steve.
Congratulations. If we want our politicians to be honest, we got to be honest too.
Yep. So, Steve, you know, Ben promised that Dillon will not win. If Dillon wins, he was going to give SKTV $100 as his contribution to the platform. So Ben just sent that money. You know, and we want to be fair. We got to announce it so people will know that we're not, taking the money on our cover. we have received the money. So somebody just asked a question. The person is watching our sister MJ. She just asked, or whether the show, because she's watching it, the show on my personal page, where you have only about 20 people there, and we have close to 400 people on SKTV. She's now watching it from there. So she's asking whether the show is live. Yes, it's live, but we're on live on different platforms. If you want to watch it on SKTV, where you have all the parties going on, where people are writing everything, you can go to SKTV and you will watch it. Just tap in SKTV. We are live on SKTV. We are live on my personal page. We are live on other platforms. We are live on YouTube. Pretty much we are live everywhere. So if you want to go to SKTV, where you want to engage other people, you can go there and be a part of the the conversation. So Steve, going back to what some of the callers were saying, I don't know how many people thinking like my friend and brother who just spoke, that he wanted the dual citizenship to pass as is, despite the level of restrictions and the discriminatory nature of the document, simply because he thought this was just one-time opportunity. Other than that, we're going to be elected again for another 9 years. But one thing that I know is that another document, another bill can be sent in, another bill can be passed, and it can be put up for referendum. If it is something that suits the masses, it can be put up for referendum in 2023. Because something was not done this time around does not mean it cannot be done later. What do you think?
Well, I think the avenue for another bill to be crafted and brought to the public in 2021, that there could be a possibility. But here is the issue, though. What is this bill going to look like? Are we in the diaspora going to be reflected in this bill? And if so, to what extent? You know, and these are things that are possible, and this is why we in the diaspora need to start having this conversation, because we can't keep this can down the road. We have to get to the point where we will do this so the responsibility does not fall on the next generation, on the next group of people coming up again. So it's incumbent on us, Mr. Cannon, to be very frank with you. We call this shot. We will make the decision. If we don't, truly speaking, nobody will make it for us in our interest. To be very, very frank with you, in as much that I disagreed with Senator Dillon back then for him signing that bill, for him affixing his signature to that bill, I sat down for long again. I thought twice. I said, in as much that he affected his signature to this bill, we can make him and hold him accountable this time around by sending him another bill and say, hey, brother, this is what we want. You can't be making this kind of call for us. This is against us. It's undermining us. So we now need to start working together as to do this. To be very frank.
So, I mean, we have a caller on the line, but before I take the caller, so do you think instead of we crafting another bill or recommending another bill to Dillon and other senators, should Senator Dillon say, well, I think I made a mistake the last time, and I do not need to wait for people in the diaspora to tell me what to do, because there were a lot of resentment in the past, and people gonna state clearly what they like and what they wanted to see in the document. Should we expect Senator Dillon to make a decision to say, you know what, this is the right thing to do, and take upon himself to go and just do the right thing by by putting another bill on the floor that we give diaspora Liberians not only dual citizenship, but to have 100% right like other citizens in Liberia?
I think that would be the right thing to do. I think that would be the right and honorable thing to do. I think not only that, Dillon will, if he were to do that, Senator Dillon will boost up his base, his favorability and likability within the diaspora, and encourage every other, member of the House of Representatives, members of the Senate, senators, representatives, encourage all of them to do similar things. Come to the diaspora. These are discussions can be discussed. These are points that you can bring when you come to visit the diaspora, when you visit the different communities. These are things that you can do. Another recommendation I will make here, opening it to them, is also, reaching out to the different group and the different tribal groups as well to start talking about how we can benefit our different communities back home. Let's say, for example, if and I'm not trying to make this tribal or whatever it is, but if you are from Lofa, or if you are from Nima and I'm from Lofa, let's say, for example, maybe Mr. Kanagan can decide and say, you know what, I will, this coming Christmas, we can share the responsibility. Mr. Kanagan, you can take one district in Lofa and send in 10 or 15 back to right, let it divide it on the people. Strategic things that would not only alleviate some of the burden, but not only us making impact, but them coming to us and saying, okay, what do you guys recommend? Instead of us always giving, we've always been giving. What coming to us and say, what do you guys recommend? I want you guys to put something down. Let it be realistic. Let's discuss it. Let's have a town hall meeting when we come. Let people come and ask questions about the things that you want. Let me present my view on it. I will take it back. Maybe I'll come back again for another break, or I will come back for another vacation. I will give you guys feedback from my constituency, and I will give you guys feedback when I brought it to the floor or when I talk to other members of the. No, do that, Mr. Kenneth. Do you know what you'll be doing? You'll be incorporating us. You will be making us feel. And let me say this. Maybe they will listen to this. Anytime people feel part of something, anytime people feel acknowledged and part of something, they tend to be committed to that thing. They do. It's part of our nature as human beings. It doesn't matter. If we feel part of something, if we feel acknowledged, if we feel welcomed, if we feel that our voices are heard, most of the time we tend to commit to that thing. And when people commit to something, I mean they're committing with the resources, they're committing with the finances and other things. So it makes it a little easier for lawmakers to be able to do some things in a favorability. Because I'll say this though. You will need us in the diaspora. Whether you like it or not, you will need us. You will need us for the advancement of that country. You will. For Liberia to move forward, it has to be done for the diaspora. It just cannot be done for Liberia. That's not true. Go anywhere.
It has to be done from the diaspora, or it has to start from the diaspora?
It has to start from the diaspora. And it has to be done through the people from the diaspora for the most part.
All right. Let's take a caller here. Caller 937. Are you there?
Yeah, Brother Segu, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. What is your name and where you calling from?
My name is Isaac Johnson, calling from Dayton, Ohio.
Isaac Johnson from Ohio. Welcome, my brother.
From Dayton, Ohio.
Yes, welcome, welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Segu. First of all, let me extend my warmest greeting to Moses in his video.
Yeah.
I've been one of the person that used to critique him every time he post on Facebook, he makes statement. But I do believe I have getting to know his point of view and trying to analyze where he comes from. Because I do believe that he's fighting for a better Liberia, and that's part of YouTube circle. Everybody fighting for a better Liberia to see how our people can live a better life tomorrow. But this is my take. I may not be 100% good on what I'm about to say, but this is my take. I do believe that we as diaspora Liberia, we have the power right now to make a great change or changes in the life of our people. So we have never been better. We have been 173 years now. We have never been better taking president and electing different president, taking president and electing different president. So my take on this, I do believe is, since we all say the president is not this, the president is not living up to our expectation, and we trying to support other people to make the difference in the life of our people, I think the best thing we can do as a diaspora Liberia, that's my take. I don't know how you're going to take it, so that's my take. I think since the power is from up, which is the president, I think we as Liberian in the diaspora, if we can just wrap around the president and tell the president what to do, if we can come together in full and have a conversation with the president, tell the president what to do, and continue to be behind him from top to top, the same way we behind, we spend money on other representatives, we spend money on other people to make a difference in the lives of our people. I think if we just do the same, no matter who the president may be, no matter who the president may be at that time, if we can just come together as a Liberian, one people, and say, yes, we're going to put our whole weight behind this president, no matter who it is, based on qualification or not. We're going to see how best we can teach him, we can tell him what we want him to do and other stuff for the betterment of our people. Let's look at the criminal justice system. If we see the president is not really paying key attention on the criminal justice system and other stuff, what can we do as a diaspora Liberian? Because we do believe other Liberians in America or other part of the world going to school, doing criminal justice, doing cyber security and other stuff. We have to look at the glasses.
So let me interrupt you for a second. Do you think the problem with Liberia is the lack of the willingness of the people to give their support, to the president, or is the lack of the willpower of the president to listen and implement some of the recommendations and support from the people? Do you think the president is being receptive, or as far as the people support, the support from the diaspora?
Yeah, the first thing, Brother Sekou,
Because the reason why you can give your support to somebody, you have to also know the willingness of the person to accept your support, and the support comes with recommendations, and it comes with certain things that you would like. Let's say, for example, Darrell Dillon being supported by the diaspora Liberians, but many Liberians believe that that Dillon is a listener. So now the first test of that, Dillon was against dual citizenship in all form from the beginning. But when he saw that the people that he relied on for support were overwhelmingly supporting the dual citizenship thing, then he shifted. So that means he was listening. So do you think the president or the presidency of Liberia is willing to listen to the diaspora Liberian for suggestion and recommendation that will enable the people, that will encourage the people to put their weight behind them?
That was a very beautiful question you just asked. The first thing you have to understand that no one is an island. That's the first thing you have to understand. And a presidency, that's a term. I do believe that any president of the Republic of Liberia, they will never say because these are the people that elected in other stuff. So I do believe that the president of the Republic of Liberia is depending on its citizens to give him, no matter what, the moral and financial support to see how best he can be able to implement some of these things that have never been implemented. All right, let's look at Darrell Dillon. We all criticize, or we all say, all right, Darrell Dillon will be the man of integrity and other stuff. Let us hear right now, we as born Liberians are trying to get our citizenship in America to work for federal government and other stuff because we are green card holders. You understand? And right now they are trying to say, Darrell Dillon said they should vote for. They should vote no on all the propositions, even citizenship. So I want to ask you, Brother Sekou, if you born your child here, your child go to school here, and other stuff, you try to go back home to at least to build other institutions and other stuff to say, yes, my father is a Liberian. I want to help and see how best I can take the people from intellectual property with all I can. You think that clause that right now that are being put within the Constitution, you think it's going to hold him back? You think it's going to hold him back, Brother Sekou?
So I don't know if I maybe Steve will come in. I don't know if I understood your question clearly, but if there is Senator Dillon said that vote against all proposition, vote no to all proposition, I believe that predicated upon the view expressed by Liberians in the diaspora that proposition 1 did not do enough for Liberians in the diaspora, thinking that in as much as is the name dual citizenship is attached to it, but it did not go far enough. It was somehow discriminatory against the Liberian in the diaspora. So if they don't say no to the proposition, then that means he listened to the cries of the Liberian in the diaspora. What do you think, Steve?
Well, I think so. I think to some extent the message reached him. In that much that he did not walk his view directly. But again, I go back to what he said, that people should vote no. So it's implied that he's not for that. I don't know where he stands on that at this point. I hope he will be consistent and definite on his position about this moving forward. And not only stating the publicly, but doing something towards it. But I will have to agree with the brother. I will have to agree with the brother that this is a Liberia problem. This is not one person problem, like I said, and this is applicable even to the president. But the bigger question here is to the brother and to CDHs and other people, so for the president, is the president willing to listen especially with the sycophancy, the infected ego, and the lies, and all of that? Is he willing to listen at this time? Is he willing to do right by the Liberian people?
Yep. That's a key question. So, my brother, conclude so I can take the next caller.
Just a good friend. The first thing, you don't know what is on man's heart until you give him what he desires. I do believe that if we make a proposition, because the president, know that we in America, we are very powerful and other stuff, if we try to see how best to give some of these things that we want for the president to do, I do believe he's going to listen.
How long you think the president have to listen to us to know what we're thinking? We've been on this platform and other platforms, in the diaspora, even giving advice. Many people volunteer give advice pro bono, that telling the president things that if he follow that will help him. Some people have volunteered to even go to Liberia to work to help the president from the initial stage, but they don't seem to be listening. So how much more do you want us to talk about what we want or what is good for Liberia before the president can listen?
All right, brother. Thank you. You see something. Let me just inject something quickly before you let me go. You see, Liberia problem right now. They are master of all trades. You see, they do believe that they get technical in everything. The first thing we have to realize, those that are really expert in health center, they put themselves together and say, yes, Mr. President, these are all the experts in the health center. We want to do this. Those are in the education area. These are the people that are in the health and in the education area until the criminal justice area. So I do believe that when everybody puts themselves together in that form and manner and other stuff, what we want for our people to believe and achieve, I do believe we just need to put ourselves together in a way that the president can understand and we all can work together as a team. I do believe that Liberia is going to be better, but changing president and criticizing president from today to tomorrow, 173 years now, it has never been a better place for us. And it will never be if we don't change our mind and attitude, say the president is not competent, the president is not the, no matter how Liberia right now is on a development path. I don't know, but we are very, very much underdeveloped. So no matter what, brother, say, we all need to work for the betterment of our people, and we can do it without working with the president.
All right, my brother. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.
All right. Let's go to Cecia Cindy. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Welcome, my sister.
Thank you so much. Let me say hello to Steve. Great conversation today. Very, very informative, very educating, patriotic, and balanced.
Thank you.
I want to speak to you the dual citizenship and about the differentiation or customization of American citizen in America. Wherever an American is born, okay, so long that American is born to an American parent, even at the American base, you're an American automatically. You're birth American, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody takes that away from you. So there's no comparable. There's no comparison. The reason that when you and I are here with green card, we can do job with American job is because we're not American by birth. All right?
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, what do you call it? Tom Cruise was not born in this country. He was born in an island, an American island,
mm-hmm.
On a base. I think my king too. Okay, but they're all red. So let's move that part. Let's go to, and there was a great question asked by somebody, a young lady, I don't remember her name earlier, about we asked white voting in our election, and there was a concept that the president has the right to bestow honorary citizenship on people. We are white voter in the election before we was president. So that was, and they said there's a problem. So this conversation is welcoming. This conversation is actually very tiny because, and I always say this, and biblically or religiously, Steve chronicled that. He chronicled the days of Nehemiah. Majority of the changes that are taking place are always been the migrants, those who travel and left. If you talk about Nehemiah, who will rebuild the walls, now, to say and say, could you just answer somebody about
Leadership does not work like that. A leader will want to help when they help and ask for the help, or take the help that have been offered him. Okay, we have talked for 3 years. We're in December. We were elected like yesterday. So today would have been a president. Most of us drop our arms to come to help him. There are people who have built about Fortune 500, 100 organizations, brought it to multi-million dollar, billion-dollar industry, who have also offered. You have offered people. We have offered our little men that we know that we can relate to. But the power is in the hands of the diaspora. I think I said this on your show. I got a call about a month plus ago from somewhere in Washington, where the person said to me, "Why are you guys fighting each other? You guys must come together. The power to change Liberia is in your hand." And I think this particular conversation, where is not our problem. Let me tell you now, where is not our problem right now. Our problem is those that we just supported, those that we spend money on, those that we start on our platform and fought for. We must tell them what we want. Okay? We must craft a bill that suits. We can build Liberia. So the power is in our hands. We don't need to play it, but you will never get everybody on the team. But if you can get most of the people on the team to focus in the right direction, Dara Dillon is there. Nyomli Kanga is there. What do you call it? Janeto Sebe, Borjas is there. You know, a lot of other people, Mr. Smith in Riverside is there. We have the number at this point. I mean, we always had the number, but that number we had were already tainted. So yeah, most of the analysis you have made today is on point. Let's keep pushing. Let's get together. Let's craft the bill that we think is suitable for Liberia. All right? Because our money going in our country. We can build Liberia. And no, we are not going to put the business majors and the finance major and the science major and the teachers are not going to get together and say, we are keen to help you. We want to help. If you offer, you can take a, what do you call it? You can take a horse to the river. You can't make a drink. We have taken this horse to the river for 3 years. It refused to drink. It's not going to drink. And we must have a protest, and we should have a protest in the future. It should be against the legislature. They are a direct representation. And they cannot, the president cannot do anything if the legislature does not approve. So the problem with Liberia is the people representation, which will be the people that we hire that we call the legislative. I'm going to start there. Thank you, Sekou. Great conversation again. Thank you.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you for your contribution. It's very in place. Thank you very much. So, Steve Boley.
Yes, Mr. Kane.
Back to you.
Yes, I mean, these are, these are the hard discussions that we need to be having, then being worried about how we can form the next person to praise and worship, or the next group of people to praise and worship, like seditionists and other people have done over the past time. Look, there's a kind of change is change. You can't say change and you do the same thing and say that change. No, that's not true. That is not change. And so, these are things that we need to start talking about. And these are responsibilities that these guys signed up for. We now went to Dallas to the hall to say, "Khan will be senator." He said he wanted to be senator, and we supported him. So it's something that he decided to do, and we supported him to do it. And he's got the job. Let him do the job. There is nothing wrong with holding him accountable. I'll keep saying this. There is nothing wrong with holding him accountable. But on a bigger note, Mr. Kane, if we were to start like this, if we were to start doing this kind of thing, look, it will send chills down the spines of every other leader in the country, including the president, to say, no, these guys are ready. These guys are ready. They will say, no, these guys are ready. Let me say this, especially with the proliferation of the internet and social media, we have more power. We have more power. Don't let nobody fool you and say, oh, they're just talking about internet citizen, and that's not truth. That is not truth. If we are just talking, we're just making noise, we're internet citizen, our noise is not doing anything. I want you to go and start thinking from 2017, since George Weah took over to today, who has done the greatest work? It's not the people on the ground. I've come to realize that even most of the people, Yes, even most of the people on the ground get the information from us on this side.
Yeah.
You see? So we are making impact. We have the connections and the influences. But what we need to do is not to praise and worship the next person to say, oh, the person, yeah, I think the person can move. Yeah. We celebrate. No. Let's not close our eyes. There's the same thing we did with Dawea. The lack of ability for Dawea, the favoritism for Dawea brought us today here. We didn't hold him accountable. We did not battle to checkmate him. No, we don't want to come back after 3 years, after election. People start jumping into opposition. People start jumping into this, the high starts. So the best thing we can do, hold your leaders accountable. You have the greatest work to do now, all of us. Hold your leaders accountable. Let me say this, though. For some of you who are DeLong fanatics, Youngblade fanatics, and other representative or lawmakers fanatics, you have work to do. Because we are here. We ain't going nowhere. We will hold them accountable.
So that was my next question to you. Moving forward, should we intend or should we attempt to hold Darius Dillon accountable? Darius Dillon being now the darling of the diaspora, also the darling of the CPP, if you will. Should we decide to hold him accountable on many, many things, including the interest of diaspora Liberians? Should that spark a fight between advocates who are so loyal to Darius Dillon, not to the country, or who feel that they have invested into Darius Dillon, so he must be protected against all criticism or anything that they would consider smearing? Would that spark another fight that could be at the detriment of the CPP? Because I believe, not other platform, but I believe SKTV, we have always held people accountable. We will always hold people accountable moving forward. Whether it's DeLong, whether it's Youngblade, we have always checkmate all of them in so many occasions, to the point where DeLong himself will say, "Man, you can't leave me small now," but at least he admitted that those criticisms are good for him. They were very instrumental in making him who he is because he learned from them. But on the bigger note, you think DeLong supporters or DeLong fanatics are going to be like George Weah supporters, insulting everybody who criticizes DeLong, or disrespecting anybody who turned to correct DeLong if he made a mistake? And when that happened, if DeLong sit and watch that happen before his eyes, will that be the beginning of the end of the rising star? Will that be the beginning of the end of a rising star, Darius Dillon?
Well, the first thing I want to say is I want to clear the air that we're just using Dillon as a yardstick for now. But
no.
He is not,
because Dillon is one of our own. That's why it's better to use Dillon so that other people would not think that, okay, when they come after me, so the person can take offense to it. Because if we can criticize Dillon, that means we can criticize anybody. So we are using Dillon's name just for people to know that this is not about Dillon. It's about Liberia as a whole, as a country. It's about the leadership, whether opposition or non-position, all government. It's all about everybody. But we are using Dillon because we consider Dillon as somebody that we made Dillon, like it or not, accept it or not accept it. We made Dillon. So if we can hold Dillon accountable, being one of our own, what about other people? So yeah, you can go ahead and make your point, but we will always use Dillon as a yardstick, to measure our action against other people. Because if we can spare one of our own, what about you? So go ahead, my brother.
Well, another thing I wanted to say is one of the problems we have with this current regime is not just the incompetence.
So I hold the line. Every time, Steve, every time I accept your call, it means that you are in the queue. Go ahead.
One of the problems we have with CDT is not just the incompetence, the lines and other things. I think one of the major problems is the level of sycophancy. It's too high. It's one of the highest it's been in modern times. I say this to say, welcome to everybody that want to be praise and worship of Dillon. Trust that we are here. You come with your praise and worship nonsense, you will meet some of us. For some of us, we don't do praise and worship. We never encourage anybody to do praise and worship. We never encourage anybody to or heal anybody. This is not what this is about. If some people got self-esteem problem where they think they need to praise certain people or they need to praise some people to get some kind of relevance, do it in your house. Praise your children. Praise your husband, praise your wife, praise your boyfriend, praise your girlfriend, that's fine. Anybody that is elected to a political position or to public position in Liberia, we will talk. We will speak about you. You do wrong, we'll talk. We're not going to go discuss it. We will not call him nobody on the phone and say, oh, now you're not calling me. And that's what call him, talk about it. No, it's not going to happen. And it's not going to happen. Just so you know. So you're just start getting ready for the thing. It's not going to happen. There's a saying I say in Liberia, pour your mouth wherever your money is, or pour your money wherever your mouth is, whatever, vice versa. The truth of the matter is, Dillon are not injured. If we can talk about Joe, we talk about Dillon. So y'all go sit down somewhere with that thing because we start. We not start. We will call all of them out. You do wrong, we'll call you out. And then you do go and say, yeah, you did the right thing, and we'll move on. We're not going to sit down and pull you out and be running around you, that person watching the party. That's not going to happen. You'll grow up, you'll grow out of it. Let's move on.
Let's take the other call. Let's take Mr. Bird in Noah. Mr. Noah, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, people. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Welcome to SKTV.
Yeah, before I get to the benefit of what you guys are talking about today, let me go to Honorable Snow that was just elected as Senator of Bonnie. Do you know Kekua Poto?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of it? Okay. And let me ask you a serious guest. Moses, do you know Kekua Poto?
I don't know him personally, but I heard about him. I read about him.
Okay. Kekua Poto was a giant politician in Liberia. That old man was very, very smart. He didn't go to school, but he used his head to play around politicians and to create his own, education to follow the politics and the political leaders then in Liberia. This is the same style that Elias Snow is following in Liberia. If you can't find another way, you can find another way. He's a very smart little boy, Elias Snow, and I admire him. You see, in politics is always depends on interest, what you can do for your people, how you look after your people. I start right there. But it's
all right. Let me say you stop right there. Let me ask you a question where you stop. So, mentioning of Kekula Poto, may he so rest in peace. How those actions of Kekula Poto benefited his people and Liberia as a country? Because what you just talked about, it appears to me that like those kind of politics is more or like self-serving, more or like egoistic, as opposed to being a giant or a champion for the genuine cause for Liberia. And those days of Kekula Poto and this date are two different times. We are in the digital world now. People are more educated. People are more versatile when it comes to politics. People understand politics now than they did before. So now people are kind of concerned about their interest, not only the people they look up to now, Before, that's how it used to be. But now people are looking up for themselves. If you fail to do what they expect of you, then they will go after you. So that time of Kakula Koto, how did his actions then benefited, the people benefited from his action versus him himself being a political Maradona, jumping from here and there just to remain on the limelight in order to be seen as political gurus who were only serving himself, his own personal ego, as opposed to for the people.
Thank you very much. In Liberia, those with the high airways one. Kekula Kuto was partner in the airways transportation. Kekula Kuto faced a little airfield in Foya. After that, he was from Sierra Leone. But there at Sierra Leone, we are all the same, they share the same border. And the old man had airfield all over there in Foya. And as I spoke from the beginning, that Elias Snow is a very smart guy. Look at what he did in Bombing. He left Bombing. He left Monrovia, his district. He went to Bombing. Look at what he did for the people of Bombing. He created a job. Even if that's not good, well-paid job, he created a job. He gave things to people. Yes. Let me tell you, that's politics. He created a job right there.
Okay.
And through the little things people can see you doing, or people can see you doing in future, or times to come. It created momentum. It created momentum in Bombing. Samuel Johnson is my personal friend. Maybe Samuel might not know me for now.
If I may ask you, moving forward, if I may ask you, what can you point to doing Representative Snow since being in the Senate, in the House of Representatives? He was once a speaker. Now he moved from Monserrato, from one district to the other district, and then he went to Bombing. What are some of the legislation, indictment, or bill sponsor or co-sponsored by representation that you know of that turned to benefit Liberia as a country?
You see, in politics,
no, I just want you to answer that question directly. Do you know any of it?
I have not done the only research I did rather.
But how you can impress Snow if you cannot point to his achievement beyond personal?
Not everything should be Monrovia. Not everything.
That's why I said Liberia.
He created a job for his people in Bombing.
What kind of job is that? What kind of job is that?
He created a farm. He planned a farm in Bombing.
Okay.
Even that's not well-paid job, but people are benefiting from what he did or what he's doing in Bombing. That's what I'm talking about.
So that's a personal development, but you don't know of any legislation, indictment, or sponsoring bill. You don't know. You have no idea on that, right?
Not for now. Not for now. But
all right. I want you to conclude. We are out of time and we're about to leave.
So okay, thank you very much. So for this reason, what I want the new senators that were elected to act on is this, Brother Sekou. Let them say all the profession agreement, meaning at the foot, so that Liberians can benefit, so that all of us are benefiting in Liberia, so that we can benefit. The taxes there, let them give all relief. We work here, we send little thing over there, and they overcharge us. Let Senator belong, including the other senators that were elected. Let them put into it and speak on a highlight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much, Steve.
Yeah.
I want you to say something about that and then make your closing statement. Then I will. Then we can call it a day.
Well, let me say this first of all. I don't know what people term as the political Maradona, what that's supposed to mean. I don't really know what that means because
Like,
I know
jumping from one party to another, or maybe moving from one position to the other based on political expediency. That's what they call political Maradona.
well, if someone is speaking in the context of political Maradona, then I think you have a bigger problem. And I think the person who you're referring to as a Maradona also has a bigger problem because then there is no consistency in them. There is no loyalty in what they want to do, especially in the case of Edwin Snow. And Edwin Snow's track record does not prove him to be an honest and a good man when it comes to the
I
Liberia.
hope you give the Snow on this platform to ask him some serious questions.
Yes, and so yes, so I don't see that as a way to pass around and preach people. I don't understand the mindset. I don't understand this mindset of how it's really Liberian people. Somebody do wrong, but because they did wrong in a crooked manner, you see them as a good person, as a good way to do it.
As a smart person.
Look, this is the mentality I even see in Liberia. You send somebody money. Take one example, Mr. Kane. You send somebody small money for them to do business. Guess what they do? They crook you on the business that you send them money to do. And they pretend as though they're smart. Which part is that one that makes you smart? When you are on money yourself and your own credibility today or tomorrow for that person even continue to support you. People lie to you so that they can benefit temporarily. Then you see that person as smart. Oh no, something is wrong with you. Not only the person, but something is wrong with you as well. But there's something I wanted to say. There's something I want to say here today. I want everybody who on this platform today to go look up the word sycophant or sycophantic behavior. I want you to go look at what it says. When you understand the context of that word, the meaning of that word, when you understand that word, if you still choose to be a sycophant, you are a waste to your family. You are a waste to society and waste to our country, Liberia. You should not be a sycophant for anybody under the sun. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's a wrong picture to print of you, especially grown men and women. How can I, Mr. Kanye, support you with my money to become senator or president? Then I turn around and defend you. What sense does that make? Think about it. I support you with my money, my time, my resources for you to get into office. Only for me to come and defend you? You do wrong? Something is wrong with me. No, I want you to think about it. That's just what it means. That's what a sycophant means. What are seditions? Those in the opposition. That's just what it means. Don't waste your life on that. That's what it means. But let me close on this note.
Yes, sir.
Remember, a few days ago, I said here on this platform that one of our biggest problems in Liberia will be depression. And I even call on a code that we use to diagnose people. Remember I said that last week? I wrote also sometimes, I think at the beginning of this week or sometime last week, I wrote about the first talent we'll have in 2021. It will be the economy. It will be the economy. And I said that will exacerbate the level of depression.
Yeah.
And it could be one of the biggest problems we see in our country. Mr. Cannon, we are in serious trouble as a nation. I'm telling the truth. Let's forget about politics. Let's forget about politics. We are in serious trouble. I gave you one common example. Let me give you one common example. Many of them come and get vexed. But I remember I said on this platform too that when I see you getting vexed, I know that you're a child of God because God can get vexed. And I said that. I still stand with that. But let me give you a common example. We told CDC, this is not hypocrisy though. This is not hypocrisy. This is pure undermining of yourself, and it shows the picture of the future from the opposition. Let me say this. We told CDC that this idea of going to the airport to pick up people and making noise is not necessary, right? And we said that. We said that's necessary, right? Oppositions are doing it now. What does that speak of the future? You think change that to just say in your mouth? This thing got to change. The way of acting got to work with the mind and your body and your behavior got to work together to change. Mr. Kane, the young people are not ready for change. They're only ready for recycle and changes. That is very dangerous. And that's why you see they're looking for young people and other people who align with it in the sick offended behavior so that they can come and support somebody like Emery Snow and say the man is Maradona. What sense does that make? Has Edwin Snow changed? Will he change? No, he will not change. That being said, I want to say thank you. We'll be on the show. We are waiting for all the sycophants, all the person watching about them. Whether you are for CDC or you for the opposition, you will meet us here. We're not going nowhere. That's why we have no political alignment. We don't want no political tab. We are here. We are just here to say the truth, stick with the truth, and move with the truth, so that we can have a better life for everybody. Whether you are CDC, you are opposition, doesn't make a difference. But let's get to the bottom line of this issue, because oppositions, they got bigger problems, but they don't want to talk about it. They'll say they will face it after 2023 when they win the election. But let's start facing it now. We'll start facing it no. So we can know who is who. Thank you so much, Mr. Kane.
So before you go, Steve, let me just make a quick announcement to everybody here. Tomorrow, we are going to be discussing CPP as to why yardstick should be used to determine who can best represent the opposition political party come 2023. Why yardstick should be used? How do you determine as who is best fitted for the position of president? So tomorrow, can join us here. We will give you detailed analysis on that. So, Mr. Bully, Mr. Bully, I want to say thank you.
You don't want to get me New Year. You want a New Year?
We'll be here tomorrow, and then we will have that discussion. Thank you very, very much, my brother.
Thank you so much, my brother.
So, folks, again, I want to say thank you to all of you. That will do it for today. I want to say thank you to all of you for following. Tomorrow, we're going to be discussing the opposition political parties as to what yardstick should be used to determine who is best fitted for the position of president or to be the standard bearer of the CPP. So get ready tomorrow. Come here and let us know what you think, and we'll definitely be here. I want to say thank you to all of you. Be blessed and have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. All right.
Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name.
You tell me, say, make I know that everything's gonna be okay. You are the father to the fatherless, the miracle walking God. You make the blind man to see, you made the crippled man to walk. You are the lily of Galilee, you make impossible possible.
Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. I woke up strong on a Monday. I go to gym on a Tuesday. Then to the studio on Wednesday. I work it out till Thursday morning. I'll be chilling on a Friday.
It was nice being with all of you here, folks. I really enjoyed the conversation, especially with my brother Moses. And I want to say a big thank you to my brother what's his name? Benjamin Jonah, my friend that I call the undercover citizen. for his contribution to SKTV. I want to say thank you to all of you. Be blessed and have a wonderful day. Tomorrow is another day. See you tomorrow.